What's up, guys? This is episode 4 of Face It. In our podcast, Face It, we always talk about change, transformation, and then what it actually takes to follow through on these changes. And in this episode, that is what my dad, Carlos, and I are going to talk about specifically, because really, we can sort of end up in this like figurative Groundhog Day for whatever reason. It could be like generational baggage. It could be because we keep trying and falling off the wagon because we're going through a particular situation in our lives. It could be because we feel like you're not that kind of person. It's not for you. It's very new to you. There's a bunch of reasons. And so here, we're going to give you the tools. This way, you can succeed. So if you're trying to get really good at a game, and by the way, this game that I'm talking about, we're gonna compare it to life, okay? Let's say you're trying to be really good at Monopoly, chess, or checkers, right? And let's just say you want to become like an expert or master at chess. You can't be really good at chess because you have to understand the game first. You have to become an amateur, and then like novice, professional, and then you can be a master. And when you're a master, you're thinking 25 to 30 steps ahead. If you're just starting, you may not even be thinking a single step ahead because all you're worried about is, what do I do, right? And so that is the same with our minds when we're trying to achieve something. This is another way to put it. So let's say you're at work and you swore that you were going to lose FAT or lose some weight or get healthier or make better choices, whatever. And there's like an office party where you work, right? People bring donuts and the donuts are right there. And you're like, well, I said I was going to be on my diet, but if I just cut a corner off, it's not that big of a deal. That was a letdown to yourself. So if you keep doing that over and over again in other small ways, these things compound and they cause you to lose trust within yourself. Therefore, you have less of a chance of actually succeeding. But the reason why you keep letting yourself down is because you haven't really dissected why you keep grabbing for the donut. Is it your environment? Is it because it's just you? Is it something you've learned from previous generations? Like, there's so many factors, right? And so this walks me into, there are two parts of the mind. There's the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. Right now, I'm going to talk about the conscious mind. So the conscious mind is like the captain of a ship. If the captain sees that there is a wreck this way, and so to get around it, he needs to go south, well, then he's going to turn the ship south, okay? And then there's the subconscious mind, which is the crew, but we'll get into that just in a little bit. But the captain is the one who's seeing everything, is actively making the choices, but the crew is in charge of something a lot greater.
So expanding on what Sadie just said, you have the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. She was using the analogy of a ship. You have the captain, there's two captains, the captain up top and the other captain, which is the crew members, that in order, when the captain says we're going north, if it's a Titanic, hey, there's an iceberg ahead, the crew members in the bottom have to paddle so that the ship goes in a different direction. So there has to be a team effort. So when you tell yourself, I'm going to be healthier, I'm going to start, taking care of my health more. And then you start to think, right? You're thinking, you're like, as soon as you say that, you're like, okay, I'm going to stick to it. And then something inside of you says, but it's real hard. Being healthy is so difficult. It runs in my family. A lot of us are diabetics. Being overweight is kind of in my family. So what are you doing right there? You're literally empowering all the negative. So of course you're going to reach for that donut. Of course you're going to stop by some fast food place and pick up something horrible. Of course you're going to do that because you're not following through on the order. So what's a practical way to make this change? You're like, okay, I'm going to be healthier. You go to, like Sadie said, you go to this office party, there's donuts. And you tell yourself, I'm not going to have that because I'm just not that type of person. Now, there's a certain level of you brainwashing yourself. And I say that because, for example, when I left heroin addiction, I bring this up because it was an addiction. And to a certain level, you might be experiencing an addiction. And so not taking care of yourself and being pleasure-based, I want that donut because it tastes good. And I'm going to do it because it feels good. And so through time, life sends you a receipt. Hey, you now are pre-diabetic. You have high blood pressure. You have high cholesterol. So there's a consequence for us not loving ourselves the way we're supposed to. So, okay, again, conscious mind and the subconscious mind. So now that you know your two captains and the power dynamics between both of them and how it works, you can now start making better decisions and understand why. Like Sadie was saying, we're understanding how this game works. Because to me, I see it as a game. So you have a thought. In order to empower a thought, there needs to be a belief, okay? An emotion behind it. So it's kind of like when something, devastating happens in your life. Like, for example, I lost my father when I was 10 years old. And so I can remember that moment, that feeling, and it makes me sad. And this happened over 30 years ago, right? So when you want to make a change and see it, and you want to follow through on that change, you need to empower that thought with an emotion. Like, you know what? Enough is enough. Like, I don't care if it runs in my family. It's going to stop with me. That's kind of the attitude that I took when I was a heroin addict. I said, you know what? I remember I would research about it, and it was difficult. It was the odds of me leaving it was just not there. 1 out of 100 or 1,000 people. But I said, you know what? I am that person. So what did I do? I empowered the feeling of recovery, of I can do it. And so that's what it takes. Your mind believes everything you tell it. Whatever you speak about and you focus on, you bring it to life. Some of us use comedy as a way of like, oh, it's because that's just how I eat, and we all eat like that, and you chuckle, you giggle, you're like, that's just how it is.
Quick intermission. This is our blood purifier. This is amazing organ support for your kidneys, your liver, and specifically if you have high insulin, which means that you could be diabetic, have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and even fatty liver, which a lot of people suffer from here in the RGV. I think it's about like 60% of the RGV struggles with fatty liver. And so this will directly chip away at the fat surrounding your liver. This way, you don't need medication to solve all those problems. Okay, so we just spoke a lot, and we really hope that some of what we said, or hopefully all of it, brought you at least some awareness. This way you can actually succeed.
Yeah, and guys, look, I mean, when we say to see this as a game, I think that if we become enamored, in love with how the brain works, it just makes things a little more doable, and also the chances of you succeeding become greater. Because, I mean, look, every time you want to make a change, there's going to be resistance, all right? It's not going to be smooth sailing. There's going to be some resistance. So understanding how things work a little better would allow us to succeed. And so we want to kind of bounce from that to our business at Francesca's Formulas. One of the things that we do here is, one of the things that we primarily do is organ support. We have organs in our body that, we do funny videos all the time talking about how the liver's calling, and it's like, hey, I'm taking a pounding, like this guy's not aware of what's going on. And so we try to do this because it's funny. On one side it's funny, on the other side it's true, So Sadie, elaborate.
Yeah, so I think like he just said, the videos they're funny, but I really think it's important to like deliver information that's like enjoyable to hear, because like nobody wants to absorb information that is like boring. Like you don't want to feel like you're sitting in school. I mean, I know I don't.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think there has to be through comedy, entertainment / education, we try to do our best to bring awareness here to the Rio Grande Valley, where, like she's mentioned, like there is a serious problem here. And so there's a problem, and we feel that we have the solution to that problem. And through our formulas, we provide the solution.
Yeah, so with our formulas, there is like a certain level of consistency you have to do. Mm-hmm. So I'll give you an example. Right now, I just did an intermission on our blood purifier. And so with this one, this is like something that's designed to be a treatment. And so what I mean by treatment is like, okay, good example, I think. When you go to the doctor's office and they prescribe you with an antibiotic because you have like strep throat or something, and they tell you, okay, take this pill or these pills for 7 to 10 days, whatever you're prescribed, and every single day, and they tell you don't miss a day because then it won't work as well. Right. So that like same principle applies here with literally all our formulas. They're not in that same fashion, but like this one is daily, 30 days. That's
such a great example. It's like, but if you look at it, it's like when poop hits the fan, it's when we're going to stick to it, Yeah. The doctor says, hey, dude, you're sick. You need to take this for 10 to 15 days. You don't say, I'm going to take it the first 2 and I'll take it the third day, right? But in that scenario, you're very sick, and so you want to get better. And because you want to get better, you're like, I'm going to follow it. So in some sense, we've had a lot of clients of ours that have been consistent and have healed. And they go from like, what's some examples you can give that they were on medication, got off medication?
Oh my God. There are so many. We have had many people. And honestly, in this week, guys, we've had probably, that I can recall, I want to say about 15 or to 20 people who come in on medications for things like diabetes, high blood pressure, and high cholesterol. And to the point where like they've been on these things for years and they're still on them. And then they come and they do what we recommend. We actually have something that we call our diabetic / insulin package, where it's literally our blood purifier, Revival Lemonade, and our My Tea. Because all that, guys, that gives complete, well-rounded organ support. And in consistency, these people are able to get off their medications. And mind you, it's not just like, oh, they were a little bit diabetic. No, guys. Some of these people have been like A1C, if you know, level like 14. We've brought 14s all the way down to 5.4. That is a huge jump.
Yeah, so when you look at that and the video of today of talking about change and transformation and some of the things that we need to do, is that we need to follow through on what we say we want. So I know that everybody's watching is saying, if I asked you, do you want to be healthier? Do you want to have more energy? Do you want to lose unwanted FAT? You would say yes. So by taking our products, and if you're consistent, you will see that result. You will see the change that you want. But it's not so much like, for example, me as a fitness trainer, I was a fitness trainer for over 20 years. And a lot of my clients tell me, they're like, man, Carlos, when I was training with you, is when I looked and felt my best. And over the years, of course, when I was younger, I'd be like, yeah, that's right. But as I got older, I realized I would tell them all the time, and I feel like this was innate in me, where I would say, when I would meet somebody, I would automatically see the better version of them, right? And then I would have to convince them that, hey, look, this is where you're going to get. Mm-hmm. And so I would kind of show them that, and through me showing up, working out with them, my presence, my text messages, it would allow them to make that transition to that better version of them, that healthier version of themselves. So when I looked at that, and today's topic, and talking about the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, understanding how they work in conjunction, that you might say, I want to be healthier, but then you get challenged with a burger, a pizza. The whole point for us not to break is, hey, we have to keep that promise that you made to yourself.
Yeah.
Like, it's important. Like, your health matters. It's like they say, what happens when somebody is sick, the only thing that's important is you getting healthier. Not anybody else. Not the rent coming, the light bill, that person said this, that person, none of that is important. It's just like, I need to get better, right? But it has to get to that point for some people. Mm-hmm. Like, you're sick, and I'm like, man, you know what? I'm stage 4 kidney disease. We have some clients that come in with stage 3, stage 4 kidney disease, and we've even reversed that. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. And guys, kidney disease is very scary.
It's scary, yeah.
It is what they call the silent killer.
Yeah.
They call it that because you do not start getting symptoms till usually stage 4 to 5, guys. Yeah. It is really bad. And fortunately, a lot of these people are able to discover that they have it at stage 1, 2, or 3. But that's not the case for a lot of people. So, side note, get your lab work done. Yeah. Stay on top of it, okay? And if you find out that you've got kidney disease or you have something that's wrong, okay? Make the move, okay? And then really quick, another sidebar on kind of what you just said a little while ago, as far as following through on the change and all that, and you getting challenged with certain foods that you really like. It's you need to understand why you actually made the decision to get it. And I'm not talking about I just got it because I was really craving it. No, not that. I'm talking about why your body physically felt the need to grab something despite how much you need to change. There's always a reason behind the reason. Yeah. So you need to find that, okay? Yeah. You need to know that in order for you to really follow through and for you to really stay consistent.
So understanding what makes us tick. That's why that's the whole point. Because you know, it's very easy to, for example, let's be negative. It's real easy to criticize somebody and say, look, they're not doing this. And look, they're with that person. Or look, have you noticed they've been doing this? Have you noticed they've been posting that? Right? It's fun. You're like, oh God, you're dissecting people left and right and maybe even judging. But if we were to flip that around and say, you know what, let me do that to me. What am I doing that's giving me this result? Why do I say I want something and I don't follow through on it? Why am I doing this? What makes you tick? If you can do that, because that's one of the most difficult things, man, is to look at yourself and master yourself in that way. Because honestly, I think that's one of the reasons why change is so hard, is because you have to take a look at yourself. You have to question yourself. You know, because a lot of the times we say we want to do something. It's like when I was in addiction, I relapsed so many times. I'm going to stop doing it, and I would relapse. I went to a rehabilitation center, I would relapse. I failed and I failed and I failed until finally I broke through. But I was always embarrassed with myself. It was always like, I shouldn't be doing this. Like there was a certain amount of, what's the word, of me feeling, it's embarrassment. It was shame, you know. And why did I feel that? Is because I knew that there's a better version of myself inside of me that I needed to get out. And just like for you, there's a better version of you that you need to get that person out of you. But in order to get that person out of you, you need to address the problems that you're currently facing. And a lot of the times it's your body. Like when I got back into my health, when I was weighing about 180 some pounds, I looked horrible, leaving addiction. My first innate, I was like, you know what? I need to get healthier. So working on your temple, you know, God gave you this body. So I was like, you know what? Let me nurture it. Let me help it. Let me take care of my organs. Let me take my Francesca's formula so I can function and operate with more energy. Because sometimes, how are you going to be positive when you feel horrible? You know? So start with your body.
Yeah, that's not just going to happen. And on that note, one of our most popular formulas we have is our Unpause Me. The reason why I bring this up right now is because, by the way, I'm only 22, but given all that I've learned throughout the years, expanding my education and all the seminars that we've done, plus my nutrition certification from ISSA, like, we have seen so many women 30 and above walk into our store with the same problems, like brain fog. They don't recognize who they are. Like, they are suddenly so anxious when they weren't before. They're getting problems, like they're getting weird pains. They're getting hot flashes, night sweats, mood swings, bouts of rage. I mean, I could go on.
Yeah.
And so the thing is, if we don't take care of the baseline, because now here he's saying the body's a temple. Now the baseline of the body is going to be your hormones, okay? Bottom line. If your hormones are not regulated, stable, or balanced, everything else is going to be so much harder, and you're going to feel like you just can't do it. Because every single woman that walks in here, guys, and has those problems always says, I don't know what's going on. I was never like this before.
Yeah.
You know? So, like, that's a clue. That's a clue that what he just said, that somebody else is in there, a better version of you is there. Yeah. It just hasn't come out. And so that's what these things do, is they allow that better version of you to really come out and show their true colors. And I know that you know that it's in there. You're in there.
That's right. So, guys, this is podcast number 4. We're going to continue doing our podcast. We got a little behind on this one because, well, you guys, some of you might know, as business owners, we wear a lot of hats.
Yeah.
And but here we are. Hope you guys are enjoying our videos. If you like our funny videos, we got more funny videos coming out. And we'll see you real soon. If you have any comments, say something.
Comments.
Acknowledge our existence.
Yes. Please subscribe. Share this to your friends or family if you feel like they need to hear this. Or also add us on Facebook and check out our clips. Okay. Bye, guys.
See you soon.